You ever notice how quiet it gets when you're struggling? How the same people who used to clap for you when you were dreaming suddenly disappear when you start fighting for it. But the moment you win, the same world that ignored your effort starts calling you brother, friend, partner. That's the truth nobody wants to admit. No one is your friend until you win. When you lose, they pity you. When you try, they doubt you. But when you win, they'll pretend they always believed in you. You see, life has a strange way of revealing people. When you're at the bottom, you will see who's truly for you. And when you rise, you will see who was only waiting for your success to show up. It's easy to love someone when the lights are bright, when the camera is rolling, and when the world is cheering. But can they love you when the audience walks away? When the bills are due, when your dreams are only seeds buried deep under dirt? Success exposes loyalty. Failure exposes motives. And every person you meet is standing at one of those two gates. I learned something powerful. People don't celebrate you. They celebrate results. The world respects outcomes, not intentions. They don't care how many nights you didn't sleep, how many times you fell apart, or how long you prayed for it. They only care when it works. When you win, you become valuable. Your voice becomes louder. Your opinion starts to matter. People suddenly start quoting your words. When you're losing, your advice is considered foolish. When you're winning, your same advice becomes wisdom. So what's the lesson? Stop chasing validation. Stop expecting loyalty from people who haven't earned a seat at your table. Stop explaining your vision to small minds who can't handle your destiny. Your job is not to convince people of your worth. Your job is to prove it through your persistence. Some people don't dislike you. They just dislike that you haven't failed yet. They don't hate your personality. They hate your potential. You're a mirror that reminds them of what they could have been if they had the courage to believe in themselves. That's why you must learn to walk alone before you walk with others. Your solitude will teach you discipline. Your silence will teach you strength. And your struggle will teach you who's real. Let me tell you something. People only come around when the feast is ready, but they were nowhere when you were planting the seeds. They show up when the table is full, not when the kitchen was burning. And that's fine. Don't be bitter. Be better. Let their absence build your focus, not your frustration. The truth is, winners attract crowds. Losers attract excuses. If you want people to respect you, you must become undeniable. You must build something so strong that they cannot ignore you. Because once you win, everything changes. Your circle changes, your conversations change, and your energy changes. But here's the secret: don't win for them. Win for you. Win to prove to yourself that you can. Win because losing has taught you enough. Win because you deserve to see what happens when you don't give up. Remember this: people don't see your pain, they see your product. They don't care about your process, they care about your performance. That's why you can't waste your time trying to convince the wrong audience. Keep grinding in silence. Let the results make the noise. You owe it to yourself to stay committed when no one believes. You owe it to your future self to stay consistent when no one claps. Because the world only respects finished products, not unfinished stories. So when they doubt you, smile. When they leave you, focus. When they forget you, work. And when they come back after you win, remember who disappeared when you lost. You don't need more friends. You need more fire. You don't need approval. You need results. Because at the end of the day, success is the only language everyone understands. And when that day comes, when your name starts echoing in rooms you've never entered, when those who ignored you start pretending they always knew you, just smile. Don't hate them. Thank them. Because their doubt was the fuel that pushed you harder. Their silence was the echo that made your inner voice louder. And their absence was the reason you built strength instead of dependency. No one is your friend until you win. But when you do, the world will finally act like they always were. That's why you must learn to win quietly, rise humbly, and shine unapologetically. Because true power isn't in being liked. It's in being respected. And true success isn't in having friends. It's in having freedom. So stay grounded when they ignore you. Stay disciplined when they doubt you. Stay grateful when they return. And never forget, the journey was yours, but the victory will echo far beyond you. Your success reveals people's real intentions, not their words. It's one of the hardest lessons life will ever teach you. And yet it's the most liberating truth you will ever learn. Because until you rise, you will never truly know who is clapping for you and who is quietly hoping you fail. When you're still struggling, people will smile and say they're proud of you. They'll tell you to keep going, that they believe in you. But the moment you start to win, that same energy changes. Suddenly, their congratulations feel forced, their laughter feels rehearsed, and their presence feels temporary. That's when you start to see through the surface, and you realize that words are cheap, but reactions are expensive. Think about it. When you were still chasing your dreams, people had time for you. They listened to your plans. They nodded with sympathy when you spoke about your setbacks. But the moment those dreams started to take form, their tone changed. Some became distant. Some began to compete with you. Others started to question how you made it, as if success was something you stole instead of something you earned. That's because your success exposes the truth. They were never cheering for you. They were cheering for your struggle. Everybody loves the underdog until the underdog wins. When you were small, they called you humble. When you stayed quiet, they said you were patient. But when you rise, they say you've changed. The truth is, you didn't change. You just grew, and your growth made them uncomfortable. Your success didn't create envy, it revealed it. It peeled back the layers of false support and showed you who was genuine and who was pretending. In real life, you can see this everywhere. Think about the friend who was always around when you had nothing, but suddenly became too busy when you started moving forward. Or the relative who used to give you advice, but now gives you silent judgment. Or that colleague who used to help you, but now competes with you for attention. That's not coincidence. That's revelation. Your success didn't break them, it exposed them. People's real intentions are like shadows. You can't see them in the dark, only when the light shines. Your success is that light. It reveals who was hiding behind kind words and fake smiles. And when the light of your progress shines, some people don't clap, they squint. They can't handle your brightness because it reminds them of the darkness they chose to stay in. This is why you must learn to observe actions, not listen to declarations. Anyone can say they love you when you're low because your growth doesn't threaten them there. But when you rise, their words will no longer match their behavior. Watch how they respond when good news comes your way. Do they celebrate or go silent? Do they encourage you or shift the conversation back to themselves? It's in those quiet moments that you see what their heart truly carries. Sometimes it's not jealousy, it's exposure. Your progress shows people what they could have done if they had believed in themselves. It's a mirror they don't want to look into. When you grow, you become a reminder, and most people can't stand being reminded of their unfulfilled potential. So instead of applauding your rise, they disguise their discomfort as criticism. They'll say you got lucky. They'll say you changed. They'll say you forgot where you came from. But deep down, what they really mean is, you became what I was afraid to try. This happens everywhere. In friendships, in family, in business. You'll notice that when you're small, everyone gives you advice. But when you start winning, everyone gives you attitude. And that's okay. Because success is not meant to please people. It's meant to purify your circle. It separates the ones who were with you from the ones who were around you. The ones who celebrated you privately from those who only supported you publicly for attention. You'll also find that the people who genuinely love, you will never feel intimidated by your success. They'll push you higher. They'll protect your peace. They'll remind you to stay humble, but they'll never ask you to shrink. Real ones don't get jealous, they get inspired. Real ones don't question your success, they contribute to it. That's how you know the difference. Success has a way of shaking foundations. It forces people to show their real faces. It will teach you that loyalty isn't built in comfort, it's proven in competition. Some people only liked you when you were beneath them. Your rise removed their sense of superiority, and that's why they left. Not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped staying small for their comfort. So when life begins to bless you, don't be surprised if it also starts to subtract people. That's not a loss, it's cleansing. You can't take everyone to the top with you. Some were only meant for the beginning of your journey, not the end of it. And the higher you climb, the more you realize that silence becomes your best friend. Because the less you explain yourself, the more you understand who truly understands you. And that's the beauty of success. It doesn't lie. It doesn't argue. It doesn't debate. It simply reveals. You won't need to confront anyone. Their actions will tell you everything. You'll see it in their eyes. you'll feel it in their energy, you'll notice it in their distance. And instead of being angry, you'll start to feel grateful, because those revelations free you from illusions. Your success will never change real people. It will only expose fake ones. It will filter your world. It will separate appreciation from envy, commitment from convenience, and love from leverage. So pay attention. Who's clapping when you win? Who's proud without benefit? Who celebrates you when there's nothing in it for them? Those are the ones worth keeping. Everyone else is just background noise in your story of becoming. And the truth is, once you see people's intentions clearly, you can never unsee them. Success gives you new eyes. It sharpens your perception. It makes you realize that not everyone who's around you is for you, and not everyone who's quiet is against you. Some are learning, some are growing, and some are simply revealing. The goal isn't to be bitter, it's to be aware. Because when you understand that your success reveals people's real intentions, you stop taking everything personally. You stop expecting loyalty from convenience. And you start building peace from awareness. Success is the light that exposes truth, and truth will always set you free. Loyalty is proven in struggle, not in celebration, because it's easy to stand beside someone when the music is playing, when the world is cheering, and when life feels like a never-ending festival. But what happens when the lights go out, when the applause fades, and when the road gets lonely? That's where the truth about people starts to unfold. Loyalty isn't about who laughs with you when you're winning. It's about who stands beside you when you're wounded. Everyone loves the victory, but few can handle the battle. When you have everything, people gather around you like bees to honey. But the moment you start losing, those same faces begin to disappear one by one. Suddenly, they have excuses, they get busy, or they simply vanish without a word. Because loyalty cannot be measured when you are at the top. It's only revealed when you fall to the ground. Struggle is the fire that tests every connection in your life. It burns away the fake and leaves behind the pure. You see this every day. When you're doing well, your phone is full of messages. People check in, they call, they want to meet up. But when you're struggling to pay your bills or trying to rebuild yourself from the ashes, silence takes over. It's like the world forgets you exist. No one calls, no one texts. And the few who do, you start to realize are the ones who genuinely care, not for what you can offer, but for who you are. That's loyalty. The friend who stays when you have nothing. The person who listens when everyone else stops caring. The one who believes in you when even you start doubting yourself. Loyalty is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and present. It shows up at 2 a.m. when you're lost. It listens to your pain without judgment. It stands beside you when your reputation is under attack. It reminds you that you are not alone, even when the world turns its back. Those who are loyal will never need to tell you they are. Their consistency speaks louder than their promises. Think about when people celebrate you. They're smiling, laughing, posting your success on their stories, clapping in public. But many of them aren't celebrating you. They're celebrating the version of you that benefits them. Celebration attracts company. Struggle exposes character. And if you pay attention, you'll see that the ones who truly love you are not only there when you rise. They are the ones who held the ladder while you climbed. Look at daily life. A man loses his job and suddenly his circle gets smaller. A woman goes through a painful breakup and suddenly her friends start avoiding her because they don't know what to say. A student fails an exam and suddenly no one checks in like they used to. It's in those silent seasons that you discover who's real. Loyalty doesn't walk away because the situation gets uncomfortable. Loyalty sits in the discomfort with you, reminding you that pain doesn't last forever. Some people only know you in seasons of joy. They don't know the nights you cried, the fears you fought, or the dreams you rebuilt. And when life takes a hard turn, they don't know how to handle the raw version of you. But those who are loyal, they stay. They don't need the perfect version of you to stand by your side. They just need you. Because their love isn't built on your success. It's built on connection. In life, storms don't destroy true relationships. They reveal them. When everything is easy, it's impossible to know who's real. But when you're broken, betrayed, and battling in silence, that's when loyalty walks in. The people who are truly for you will never disappear when the struggle begins. They will fight beside you, pray for you, and remind you that your story isn't over yet. I've seen it countless times. Someone wins an award, and suddenly everyone claims they always knew they'd make it. But when that same person was grinding in the dark, no one showed up. They were laughed at, doubted, and ignored. That's why loyalty is not proven in the spotlight. It's proven in the shadows when no one is watching. The truth is, struggle strips away illusions. It shows you who's loyal out of love and who's loyal out of convenience. When you're struggling, you can't offer favors or fame. You can only offer your heart. And that's when the pretenders walk away, because they were never loyal to you. They were loyal to what they could get from you. But the real ones, the ones who stay even when you have nothing left to give, they are rare. They are priceless. And they are your true blessings. Loyalty isn't built during the celebration. It's built during the storm. Anyone can dance with you when the music is playing, but who will walk with you when there's no sound? Who will sit beside you when all you have to offer is silence and tears? That's where loyalty lives, in the quiet, in the unseen, in the moments that never make it to social media. People think loyalty is about never leaving, but it's deeper than that. Loyalty is about staying even when it hurts. It's about defending someone when they're not in the room. It's about believing in someone when the world stops believing. It's about choosing them again and again, even when circumstances make it inconvenient. Loyalty doesn't depend on the weather. It survives every season. You can't buy loyalty. You can't demand it. It's earned through authenticity, trust, and time. And once someone shows you loyalty during your worst days, you protect them with everything you have during your best days. Because those are the people who saw your potential when everyone else only saw your problems. In the end, life will test every bond you have. Struggle will come to see who's real. And when it does, don't fear the loss of people. Be grateful for the revelation. Because the ones who remain, the ones who endure the hard times with you, they are the proof that true loyalty still exists in a world that often forgets what it means. The world honors outcomes, not effort. That's a truth that feels unfair, but it's the truth that shapes reality. You can work hard for years, pour your heart into something, and still be invisible until the results arrive. People don't see your sleepless nights. They don't feel the pain behind your persistence. They don't count the tears that fell on your pillow. All they see is the finish line. All they recognize is the trophy. The world measures you not by how hard you tried, but by what you produced. That's why so many dreamers are misunderstood and so many winners are celebrated. Think about it. When an athlete trains for years, nobody claps for the practice sessions. No one stays up to watch the early morning runs or the nights of exhaustion. But the day that athlete wins gold, suddenly the world knows their name. People call them gifted, they call them lucky, but they forget the years of unseen labor that built that moment. That's the world we live in, where results speak louder than sacrifices. In your own life, how many times have you tried your best, given everything, and still gone unnoticed? You worked late, you studied hard, you sacrificed sleep, you carried responsibilities quietly, and yet no one said thank you. No one saw it. But the moment you achieve something visible, when your name appears on a list, when your business finally starts growing, when your dream becomes real, that's when everyone remembers you. Suddenly, they want to be part of your story. That's how it works. It's not that the world is cruel. It's that most people can only recognize what they can measure. And effort cannot be measured. Only results can. People don't know how many bricks you carried, only how tall your building stands. They don't know how much you endured, only how well you perform. So stop expecting everyone to clap while you're still constructing. The applause will come when the structure is complete. That's why you must learn to fall in love with the process even when the world doesn't. Because the crowd will only show up at the finish line, but the race belongs to you. Success demands that you build silently, fail privately, and rise without explanation. Because if you wait for the world to recognize your effort, you will give up too soon. Most people quit not because they lack talent, but because they got tired of being unseen. Think about the story of a seed. When you plant it, it disappears into the soil. For weeks, there's no sign of life. People might walk by and see nothing but dirt. But beneath that surface, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming, strength is building, life is growing quietly. Then one day that same seed breaks through the ground and everyone says, look how fast it grew. They didn't see the time it spent in darkness. They only saw the outcome. That's how your journey works too. People will never understand what you're building until it's built. They will not respect your work until it's working. That's why you must stop living for validation. Effort is your private story. Success is the public chapter. The world doesn't pay for potential, it pays for proof. They don't buy ideas, they buy impact. You can have the purest heart and the hardest grind, but until results appear, the world stays silent. And yet that silence should not break you. It should drive you. Because when nobody is watching, that's when the real transformation happens. When nobody praises you, that's when character grows. When nobody believes in you, that's when your inner power wakes up. The quiet seasons are where greatness is born. That's where your discipline sharpens and your focus strengthens. Every invisible day is an investment toward a visible future. Daily life proves this again and again. A chef spends years perfecting recipes, burning food, failing dishes, until one day a flavor explodes into success. A student fails exams, faces humiliation, but keeps learning, and one day that same student becomes the one everyone respects. A small business owner spends sleepless nights worrying about bills while people mock their dream, and years later, when the business flourishes, the same people call them an inspiration. This is the law of outcomes. The world doesn't see effort, it only reacts to evidence. So you have two choices. You can get frustrated that no one notices your grind, or you can turn that frustration into fuel. Don't complain that the world doesn't honor effort. Use that reality to make your results undeniable. Because when you finally deliver, the same world that ignored you will stand up and clap. People may not remember the journey, but they will never forget the victory. And remember, outcomes don't just silence doubters, they speak for you. When your results show up, they do the talking. You don't have to argue, explain, or prove anymore. Your success becomes your answer. Your achievements become your voice. And those who once questioned your ability will start to quote your name. That's why you should never underestimate the power of consistency. Effort alone doesn't change your destiny. It's the combination of effort and persistence until outcomes arrive. Don't just work hard, work smart, work long, and work quietly. Because when the results come, no one will ask about your struggles. They will only study your strength. The world honors outcomes, not effort. But don't let that make you bitter. Let it make you better. Because while people may only respect results, the process is what will make you deserving of them. The outcome is your proof to the world, but the effort is your promise to yourself. And that promise, that quiet commitment you make every day when no one is watching, is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. So keep showing up, keep fighting through the silence, keep working when nobody claps. Because even though the world doesn't honor your effort now, one day, when the results finally arrive, that same world will stand in awe. And while they see the outcome, you will know the truth. You were always great even when nobody noticed. Success gives you a voice. Failure gives you clarity. It sounds simple, but it carries the deepest truth about life. When you succeed, the world finally listens to you. Your words start to echo in places that once ignored your voice. Suddenly, people respect your opinion. They ask for your advice. They want to be associated with you. Success amplifies your presence. It gives you confidence. It gives you influence. And it allows you to speak with power. But before that voice comes, there is something else that must happen. Failure. Because failure, as painful as it is, gives you something success never can. It gives you clarity. It strips away confusion. It removes illusions. And it teaches you what truly matters. Think about it. When you're winning, everyone claps, everyone smiles, and everyone wants to be around you. It feels good, but it can also blind you. Success can sometimes be loud, and in that noise, you can lose the sound of your own truth. Failure, on the other hand, is quiet. It's lonely. But in that silence, you start hearing the things you ignored before. Failure whispers the lessons that success can't teach. It tells you who's real, who's fake, what's working, what's not. It clears your vision. It humbles you enough to see the truth without pride and without excuses. Every successful person you admire today had a moment when life broke them before it bit them. The businessman who now leads a company once faced rejection after rejection. The artist who now fills arenas once performed to empty rooms. The speaker who moves millions once struggled to find the right words. But it was failure that shaped them. It was failure that showed them their limits so they could break them. Clarity is not born in comfort. It's born in the chaos that comes when you fall and have to decide whether to stay down or rise again. In everyday life, this truth shows itself over and over. When you lose a job, you suddenly start to see who your real friends are. When a relationship falls apart, you realize what love truly means. When your plan fails, you discover what your purpose really is. Failure removes the noise and leaves you face to face with yourself. It forces you to ask the questions you avoided when everything seemed easy. Who am I? What do I truly want? What am I doing this for? Those moments of defeat are where real direction is born. People often fear failure like it's a monster waiting to destroy them, but failure is not your enemy. It's your mentor in disguise. It refines your motives and adjusts your path. Success may give you fame, but failure gives you focus. And without focus, success is short-lived. You can't appreciate the value of victory until you've tasted the bitterness of defeat. You can't truly lead others until you've learned how to rise after falling yourself. When you fail, you stop chasing validation. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align with your vision. Failure makes you honest. It removes the layers of pride and teaches you humility. It teaches you that growth isn't about appearing perfect. It's about becoming real. And once you've been through that fire, your voice changes. It carries power because it's no longer theory. It's testimony. When you speak after failure, people listen differently because your words carry weight. Think about the man who loses everything and rebuilds his life from nothing. When he talks about perseverance, you can feel it. His tone has depth. His eyes have seen storms. His voice carries conviction because it was forged in pain. That's the difference between someone who only knows success and someone who has lived through both success and failure. One speaks from theory, the other speaks from truth. And truth always carries more power. Failure gives you the gift of awareness. You begin to notice patterns. You realize what kind of habits lead you to success and what kind of distractions pull you down. Failure gives you discipline. It sharpens your instincts. It teaches you patience. Because when everything collapses and you have to start over, you learn to move carefully, you learn to plan wisely, and you learn to value progress over perfection. Success gives you a voice, yes, but it is failure that gives that voice meaning. People may hear your words after you succeed, but they will feel your words after you've failed. Because failure brings humanity into your story. It makes your journey relatable. When you talk about victory, people admire you. When you talk about struggle, people connect with you. And when you've experienced both, your voice becomes unstoppable. It carries both authority and empathy. Daily life is filled with moments that prove this truth. A student fails an exam and suddenly discovers a better way to study, a better way to learn, and eventually becomes the best in the class. A young entrepreneur launches a business that collapses, but through that fall learns the mistakes that make the next one successful. A person loses a relationship and through the heartbreak discovers self-worth, purpose, and the strength to love again, this time better. Failure gives you that kind of clarity, the kind that success often hides behind celebration. You might not realize it now, but the seasons of failure are the seasons that prepare your foundation. Because if you succeed without clarity, you will rise fast and fall faster. But if failure builds your clarity first, then your success will be solid, unshakable, and lasting. So when failure visits you, don't curse it, listen to it. It's not here to end your journey, it's here to redirect it. Success gives you the platform, but failure builds the person who stands on it. Success gives you followers, but failure gives you faith. Success opens doors, but failure teaches you how to walk through them with humility. When you've been broken and rebuilt, your voice becomes a map for others who are still lost. You speak with the kind of confidence that only comes from surviving. So don't run from failure, learn from it. Let it give you clarity so that when success finally gives you a voice, that voice speaks truth, wisdom, and purpose. Let every fall refine your focus. Let every loss awaken your strength. Let every mistake reveal what really matters. Because in the end, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. And clarity, born from failure, is what makes success worth having. Don't expect commitment from people who never believed in your vision. People will say they're with you. They'll nod when you speak. They'll clap when you announce your dream. But deep inside, they're only waiting to see if you fail or if you fly. The moment you start walking alone, the moment you start moving towards something greater than their understanding, their energy will change. They'll suddenly become silent. They'll no longer call. They'll stop showing up. And it's not because they're busy. It's because your vision exposes their lack of faith. People fear what they don't understand. And when your dream is too big for their belief system, They quietly walk away. You must understand, not everyone who smiles at you believes in you. Not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. Some people only support you when your dream still looks small enough to control. The moment it grows beyond their imagination, they will label you arrogant, unrealistic, or delusional. But hear me, their disbelief doesn't define your destiny. Their doubt doesn't disqualify your purpose. You were not designed to convince them. You were designed to prove through action what faith looks like in motion. Every visionary faces this test. When you start something new, when you chase a dream, the first question people ask is, are you sure this will work? They don't ask out of curiosity. They ask because they're projecting their own fears. They can't see what you see because your vision was not shown to them. It was shown to you. If God hid it from their eyes, it's because He trusted only you with that dream. So stop wasting time explaining your fire to people who only carry buckets of water. They won't understand why you burn. Imagine a man building a house on an empty plot. At first, people pass by and laugh. They see dust, bricks, sweat, and chaos. But the man keeps working day and night. When the foundation is done, they still don't believe. When the walls rise, they still doubt. But the moment the roof is up, the moment the lights turn on, suddenly the same people who laughed will say, I always knew you could do it. And that's how the world works. They only celebrate what's finished, not what's in progress. You have to protect your vision from small minds. Sometimes you must go silent, not because you're weak, but because you're focused. Your silence will disturb those who thrive on gossip and confusion. But remember this, you are not obligated to explain the process to people who won't be there at the product. Your time is too precious to waste convincing the blind to see. There will be moments when your own circle will test your patience. You'll feel alone in a crowd. You'll look around and realize that the same people who used to cheer you on are now questioning your direction. But that's the moment of growth. When people fall away, clarity comes in. When distractions disappear, destiny appears. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Look at any successful person, the ones who truly changed their world. They all had a season where nobody believed in them. They were laughed at, criticized, and ignored. But instead of arguing, they kept building. They didn't need validation, they needed vision. And the moment they succeeded, the world came running back, pretending they had supported them all along. That's why you must never attach your passion to people's opinions. Opinions shift like the wind, but purpose stands like a mountain. You will learn that silence is your greatest ally. When you stop talking and start working, you become unpredictable. People can't destroy what they can't define. The best revenge is not proving them wrong with your words, but proving them wrong with your results. Your results will make noise louder than any argument. So guard your dream. Not everyone deserves access to your planning table. Some people only come to eat, they don't come to build. Separate the builders from the talkers. Those who believe in you will stay even when you fail. Those who don't will disappear the moment things get tough. And that's how you'll know who truly belongs in your journey. Every visionary must carry loneliness like a crown. The road to purpose is narrow because not everyone can handle the pressure that comes with destiny. When people walk away, let them. When they mock your dream, bless them. When they doubt your fire, smile, because while they're busy doubting, you're busy becoming. While they're watching, you're working. While they're waiting to see you quit, you're preparing to rise. Remember, you don't owe anyone proof before progress. You don't need their faith to move forward. You just need your own belief, your own discipline, your own persistence. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will quote your story, share your posts, and use your name as an example of success. So never expect commitment from people who never believed in your vision. They weren't built for your future. They were part of your training. They taught you to walk alone, to trust your own voice, to depend on your own strength. And sometimes that's the greatest gift disbelief can give you. Clarity about who you are and who you never needed. Rejection is redirection toward independence and purpose. Think about that for a moment. The very doors that closed in your face were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to direct you. Every no you heard wasn't a denial of your destiny. It was a divine reroute to where you truly belong. Sometimes life takes away what you think you need just to show you what you're actually made for. It hurts when people walk away. It stings when opportunities vanish. But in the silence of rejection, something powerful begins to awaken. the strength to stand alone, the clarity to see your path, and the courage to keep walking even when no one believes in you. Every rejection is like a teacher in disguise. It strips away the unnecessary and exposes the essential. When a person rejects you, a company denies you, or a dream collapses, life is not saying you're unworthy. Life is whispering, not here, not yet, not with them. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that friend who turned their back, each of those moments felt like loss, but they were all pushing you toward alignment with your true purpose. Sometimes the delay is not a punishment, it's protection. Sometimes God won't let you sit at certain tables because He's preparing one of your own. You see, rejection is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Think of the greatest names you admire, from inventors to leaders to artists. Every one of them has faced rejection that could have broken them. Thomas Edison was told he was too stupid to learn anything, yet he went on to light up the world. Walt Disney was fired because he lacked imagination, yet he built a kingdom that became the home of dreams. J.K. Rowling was rejected 12 times before someone finally saw the magic in her story. They were all told no, but each no simply pushed them to find their whys. Their rejection did not destroy them, it refined them. The same is true for you. That rejection that broke your heart wasn't meant to end your journey. It was meant to build your backbone. Sometimes life has to disappoint you to develop you. It has to close doors to make you find the courage to build your own. Because if every opportunity came easy, you'd never learn to fight for what truly matters. If everyone always accepted you, you'd never discover how to validate yourself. Independence isn't born in comfort. It's born in the moments you have no choice but to depend on your own belief. There's a story about a young athlete who dreamed of joining a prestigious team. He trained for years, poured his heart into preparation, and gave his best performance at the trials, but was rejected. Devastated, he almost gave up. But in that rejection, he found something deeper. He didn't want to be accepted. He wanted to be exceptional. He trained harder, improved daily, and eventually created his own academy to train others who faced rejection like him. That rejection turned into redirection. It moved him from chasing approval to creating impact. In your own life, you might be facing rejection right now. Maybe you've been overlooked at work. Maybe a friend betrayed you, or maybe someone you loved walked away. You question your worth, wondering what you did wrong. But rejection is not proof that you are not enough. It's evidence that life is preparing you for something bigger than where you are. The pain you feel is temporary, but the lesson it teaches will last forever. Sometimes the hardest goodbyes create the greatest growth. When people reject you, don't chase them, thank them. They just made space for better ones to enter. When opportunities vanish, don't mourn the loss, celebrate the protection. Because what's truly yours will never require you to beg. Rejection pushes you away from imitation and brings you closer to authenticity. It's in rejection that you stop pretending to fit into spaces you've outgrown. It's in rejection that you stop begging for validation and start building self-respect. Life will test you with rejection to see if you truly believe in yourself. When no one claps, will you still perform? When no one believes, will you still build? When the doors close, will you wait for permission or will you create your own? Greatness is found in those who kept going when the world turned its back. The truth is, people often reject what they don't understand and distance themselves from what intimidates them. Sometimes your potential offends their comfort. Don't shrink to be accepted, expand to be remembered. Imagine a seed buried deep under the ground. In darkness, it feels isolated, forgotten, and trapped. Yet that's where its transformation begins. The soil that seems to be suffocating it is actually shaping it. The rejection of the surface is the protection of the roots. And when the time is right, the same earth that once covered it will release it into the light. Your journey works the same way. Rejection is the soil where your strength grows. The deeper you're buried, the higher you'll rise. Learn to see rejection not as a wall, but as a mirror. It reflects the areas that need growth, the strength you didn't know you had, and the direction you're meant to move toward. Every time you're pushed away, ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me? Because every rejection is redirection toward your independence, your maturity, your destiny. The world will often say you're not ready, not capable, not talented enough. But it's not the world's job to define your readiness. It's your job to keep proving your potential through persistence. When one door closes, knock on another. If no one opens, build your own frame and install your own door. Your purpose doesn't depend on someone else's permission. Rejection simply frees you from what was never aligned with your purpose in the first place. When you finally understand this, rejection loses its power to hurt you. You begin to see it as guidance, not failure. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That's when you shift from victim to visionary, from dependent to decisive. Independence is born the moment you realize you don't need approval to walk in your purpose. The beauty of rejection is that it forces you to listen to the quiet voice within, the one that says, you still have something to give. It leads you to rediscover yourself outside of validation. It teaches you that you are not defined by who left you out, but by what you built after they did. Rejection builds resilience, and resilience builds leaders. The strongest people you see today are simply those who refuse to let rejection define them. So when the world says no, don't break down, wake up. That rejection is your redirection. That pain is your preparation. That silence is your signal to move differently. Life is not shutting you out. It's shifting you into your purpose. Rejection isn't your end, it's your evolution. It's not the moment you lose. It's the moment you begin to find out who you really are. Discipline and solitude prepare you for elevation. Nothing great has ever been built without the quiet season of preparation. That's the part no one sees, no one applauds, and no one volunteers to join you in. It's the season when you have to say no to distractions, no to noise, and no to comfort. It's the season when your only company is your vision and your own inner voice. That silence can feel heavy. It can make you question your direction. But that's where champions are formed, in the quiet, not the crowd. People think success begins when the world claps for you. But success actually begins when you learn to clap for yourself in the dark. Discipline is what separates dreamers from doers. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to go through the painful process of becoming. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing what's necessary, not what's convenient. It means pushing your body when your mind says rest and pushing your mind when your emotions say quit. The truth is, you can't rise if you're still controlled by comfort. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. And that's why solitude becomes your training ground. It strips away everything unnecessary, so only the essential remains: your purpose, your focus, your grit. Think about it. Every great athlete trains alone before they perform in front of thousands. Every musician practices in a room no one sees before they stand under bright lights. Every visionary spends years in silence before their name echoes in the world. Solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. It's where you sharpen your sword, build your strength, and test your resilience. When no one believes in you, that's when you learn to believe in yourself. When no one is watching, that's when you develop integrity. When no one is clapping, that's when you learn to find motivation that doesn't depend on applause. Discipline is not a cage. It's freedom disguised as effort. It's the habit of choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. You can't expect greatness if you're still addicted to comfort. Comfort whispers, rest a little longer. You deserve it, but purpose whispers, rise a little earlier, you're built for more. And between those two voices, discipline decides which one wins. Most people fail not because they don't have talent, but because they don't have consistency. Talent opens doors, but discipline keeps them open. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do daily, even when you're tired, even when no one notices. There's something sacred about being alone while you're working on yourself. When you're in solitude, your thoughts start to speak clearly. You begin to understand your weaknesses and your strengths. You stop seeking validation because you start seeing value within yourself. In solitude, you confront your fears, your insecurities, your habits, and your excuses. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is your classroom. Solitude forces growth because it removes distraction. And when you come out of that season, you're not the same. You're stronger, wiser, and more centered. Many people avoid solitude because they fear what they might hear in the silence. They drown their lives in noise, music, gossip, endless scrolling, because silence reveals truth. But those who have the courage to sit with themselves in quiet learn what the crowd can never teach them. The noise of the world hides you from yourself. Solitude introduces you to yourself. And once you know who you truly are, no one can manipulate or mislead you. Discipline and solitude teach you control. They show you that not every impulse deserves your reaction. Not every opportunity deserves your energy, and not every invitation deserves your presence. You begin to understand that peace is more valuable than popularity. Focus becomes more satisfying than attention, and consistency becomes more rewarding than excitement. It's in solitude that your mind becomes clear enough to recognize what truly matters. Look at a seed. It's buried in darkness long before it ever sees light. That dark, lonely place underground is where it grows roots, where it gains strength, where it prepares for elevation. If you dig it up too early, you kill its potential. You must let it remain buried until it's strong enough to break through the soil. That's your life. Your season of solitude is not the end. It's the beginning of your rise. While others are partying, you're planting. While others are sleeping, you're growing. And one day, when the time is right, you'll break through, and the same people who forgot you existed will wonder where you came from. Discipline also protects your dream from decay. Without discipline, passion fades, excitement dies, progress slows. But discipline sustains you when emotion disappears. It's what keeps you moving forward on days when motivation is gone. It's what keeps you from quitting when nothing seems to work. Discipline says, this pain is temporary, but my purpose is permanent. You will have to turn down invitations, walk away from certain people, and detach from temporary pleasures. You'll be misunderstood. People will call you cold, distant, obsessed. But let them talk. They can't understand your silence because they've never heard purpose speak. The path to elevation is lonely because not everyone is built for that height. Some people lose balance when they climb too high. But you're learning to stand firm. The world celebrates results, but it never respects the process. That's why you must fall in love with the process itself. The early mornings, the late nights, the repetition, the sacrifices, those are the unseen bricks that build your greatness. When you train yourself to love the grind, success becomes inevitable. Because by then, it's not about luck or timing, it's about mastery. Discipline and solitude are not glamorous, but they are golden. They shape you into someone unshakable. They teach you to rely on purpose, not praise. To stay calm under pressure. To keep moving even when doors close. It's in that lonely season you find your true identity. And when elevation finally comes, you'll realize it was never luck that lifted you. It was the strength you built in silence. Results speak louder than explanations. In a world full of noise where everyone talks, debates, and argues about who will make it and who won't, the quietest person in the room is often the one preparing to prove them all wrong. People can doubt your dream. They can question your methods. They can criticize your pace. But once your results show up, all their words fade into silence. The truth is, explanations are for those who want to convince others. Results are for those who want to change their lives. When you have results, you don't need to explain your journey. Your success becomes your statement. Your progress becomes your proof. Too many people waste their energy trying to justify their vision to people who were never supposed to understand it. They argue, defend, and explain, hoping to earn approval or validation. But validation is a fragile thing. It disappears the moment opinions change. You must understand that people will never truly believe in what you're building until they can see it with their own eyes. They can't see your dream. They can't feel your fire. They can't understand your hunger because it's not theirs. And that's why your best response to doubt is not a speech. It's consistency. Every day you choose to work when they rest. Every time you decide to move forward when they sit still. You're writing a story that needs no defense. Think about the builder who spends months working behind a tall fence. People outside pass by every day seeing nothing but dust, bricks, and noise. They shake their heads saying, "What a waste of time," or "Doesn't even know what he's doing." But one morning the gates open and there stands a masterpiece, a house so beautiful that silence fills the air. Suddenly no one asks questions anymore. No one mocks anymore. Because results silence critics faster than any explanation ever could. Results are the language of truth. When you start producing, even those who doubted you are forced to listen. The same people who ignored you will start quoting you. The same people who laughed will start asking how you did it. That's the irony of life. The moment you stop explaining and start executing, the world starts paying attention. People don't follow intentions, they follow evidence. They don't believe what you say, they believe what you show. You have to understand that silence is power when your actions speak. Your results should enter the room before you do. When you show up with proof, with performance, With excellence, you don't need to beg for respect. It's automatically given. Explanations are fragile, results are unbreakable. Explanations fade, results remain. When you achieve something, it becomes undeniable. It stands as a monument to your effort, your patience, and your persistence. There will be seasons when people misunderstand you. They'll think you've changed. They'll think you're wasting your time. They'll think you're lost. But let them think. Don't fight to correct their perception. Focus on building your reality. Because when your results arrive, perception shifts on its own. No one can argue with evidence. You can argue with opinions, but not with outcomes. When your work speaks for you, even your enemies are forced to listen. Think of a student who keeps failing, yet never quits. People laugh, they whisper, they say, it's over. But the day that student graduates, all the laughter stops, the cap goes up, the name is called, and every sleepless night, every tear, every struggle becomes a testimony. That degree, that result silences every rumor. It's the same in life. You don't have to explain why you're late blooming, why you're working in silence, or why you've disappeared from certain circles. One day, your success will make the noise that your words never could. People will always have something to say when your results haven't yet appeared. That's human nature. When they can't see the fruit, they assume the seed is dead. But what they don't understand is that growth happens underground before it's visible above ground. While they gossip, you're growing roots. While they laugh, you're strengthening your foundation. And when your season of blooming comes, there's nothing they can do to stop it. That's why you must learn to love the hidden season, because that's where your results are being built in secret. Results are louder than defense. If you have to explain your worth, you haven't yet shown your work. Let your work do the talking. When someone says you can't, don't argue. Show them you can. When someone says you're dreaming too big, don't shrink. Show them what a big dream looks like when it's done. When someone says you'll never make it, don't debate. Make it, and let the result answer for you. Results are the only argument that needs no words. You must be patient with the process. The reason most people don't have powerful results is because they quit halfway and start explaining why it didn't work. But winners don't explain, they adjust. They learn, they try again, and they keep going until what was once invisible becomes undeniable. And once your results arrive, those who ignored you will pretend they always supported you. Don't get bitter. Get better. Your focus should never be on proving people wrong. It should be on proving yourself right. Results change how people treat you, but more importantly, they change how you see yourself. When you start producing results, you gain confidence, clarity, and credibility. The very things people used to doubt become the reasons they respect you. You stop chasing approval because success itself becomes your introduction. Remember, people hear explanations, but they feel results. Explanations can be debated, results cannot. You can argue with words, but you can't argue with proof. And once your proof shows up, even your silence becomes powerful. So stop wasting your energy trying to make them understand. Keep building, keep working, keep believing, because when results speak, the whole world listens. Success is the proof that silence and persistence work. It's the evidence that you don't need to shout your dreams for them to come true. You don't need to announce every move you make. Because when you are truly focused, your energy shifts from talking to building. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the art of letting your work echo louder than your words. Persistence is the heartbeat of every great achievement. It's the quiet rhythm behind the scenes, the part that no one sees but everyone feels once the result shows. When you combine silence with persistence, you become unstoppable, because while others are talking about what they will do, you are already doing it. Success doesn't come to those who make noise about their plans. It comes to those who stay consistent when no one is watching. The world celebrates success, but it rarely celebrates patience. It claps for the results, but forgets the nights of sacrifice, the mornings of discipline, and the countless moments of doubt that had to be conquered in private. Silence is the workshop where greatness is built. It's where you learn to depend not on applause, but on purpose. It's where you understand that validation means nothing if the vision isn't fulfilled. Think about the seed buried deep underground. No one sees it. It doesn't make a sound. It's surrounded by darkness and pressure. But every day, quietly, it pushes through the soil, reaching for the light. It doesn't complain about how long it takes or who notices. It just keeps growing, and one day it breaks through the ground, strong enough to face the sun. That's what persistence looks like. It's the quiet power that keeps moving forward even when progress is invisible. People love to talk about overnight success, but there's no such thing. Success is never sudden. It's the result of silent seasons. It's the accumulation of years of unseen effort. Every champion you admire has a story of solitude, sacrifice, and silent persistence. They didn't post every step. They didn't announce every struggle. They kept their head down, worked, failed, learned, and tried again. They understood something most people never do. Noise doesn't build empires, work does. You have to reach a point in your life where silence becomes your strategy. When you stop seeking validation, you start building value. When you stop talking about what you're going to do, you start becoming what you said you would be. Persistence means showing up every day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. It means putting in the effort when you're tired, when you're lonely, when you're doubting yourself. It means believing in the process more than the praise. There's a difference between people who want to be seen and people who want to succeed. Those who want attention talk, those who want results act. Success is not a performance. It's a product of persistence. It's not built on how loud you are, but how long you can endure. The truth is, persistence is not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's boring. It's quiet. It's waking up early, staying late, saying no to distractions, and saying yes to discipline. But that's where growth happens. In the quiet, in the repetition, in the persistence. Every great story has a silent chapter. The chapter where nothing seems to work, where no one understands you, where your effort feels invisible. That's the part where most people quit. But if you can survive that silence, you'll earn the success that speaks for you. Silence builds strength. It teaches you patience. It teaches you focus. It teaches you to rely on action instead of approval. Look at a sculptor working on a statue. For weeks, he stands alone in his studio, chipping away at a block of stone. Dust fills the air. His hands ache. People pass by and see nothing but a mess. They don't understand what he's creating. But he keeps working, silently shaping, refining, perfecting. And then one day the statue stands complete, beautiful, powerful, undeniable. That's success. That's what silence and persistence create. No explanations, no noise, just results that speak louder than any word could. Success built in silence lasts longer because it's not dependent on validation. It's grounded in effort, in process, in character. It's not fragile like fame. It's firm like faith. When you persist silently, you're not chasing attention. You're building foundation. And foundations are what make success sustainable. Most people fail because they quit too soon or they talk too much. They want to see instant results. And when it doesn't happen, they lose heart. But persistence doesn't ask for speed. It asks for consistency. Slow progress is still progress. Small steps still move you forward. And if you keep going long enough, what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. Silence also protects you from negativity. When you stop telling everyone your plans, you stop giving them the chance to discourage you. Not everyone wants you to win. Some people pretend to support you just to monitor your moves. But when you move in silence, no one knows what's coming. They only see it when it's done. And by the time they realize, it's too late to stop it. Success whispers before it roars. It begins with small victories that no one sees. The early morning grind, the late night effort, the inner battles you win quietly. Every small step, every small decision, every silent moment of persistence adds up. And then one day you cross a line where everything changes. People start calling you lucky, but you know it wasn't luck. It was persistence, discipline, and silence. The beauty of success built in silence is that it humbles you. It keeps you grounded because you remember what it cost you. You remember the lonely nights, the failures, the sacrifices. And that memory keeps you grateful. It reminds you that real success isn't about being seen. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. When you finally achieve it, you don't need to brag. You don't need to shout. Your success itself becomes your voice. So when the noise around you grows louder, stay silent and keep moving. When people doubt you, let your consistency answer them. When progress feels slow, remember that persistence builds momentum. The path may be lonely, but it's sacred. It's where you transform. And when success finally arrives, you'll know it wasn't by chance. It was by choice, by silence, by persistence. True friendship is not found in applause, but in presence during your storm. When everything is going right, when you're shining, when you're on top, it's easy for people to gather around you. They'll smile at you, celebrate you, and call you their friend. But the real test of friendship doesn't happen when the sun is shining. It happens when the rain starts to fall. It happens when life gets heavy, when you lose your strength, when your plans fall apart and your heart feels empty. That's when you find out who's really with you and who was only there for the celebration. Applause is loud, but it fades quickly. Presence, though silent, lasts through the storm. You see, anyone can love you when it's easy. Anyone can cheer for you when you're winning. But when life hits you hard, when you lose your job, when your dreams collapse, when you fail publicly, watch how quickly the crowd disappears. That's when the stage clears and the spotlight goes out, and you're left in the dark wondering who's still standing next to you. That's when you'll realize that most people don't love you, they love what you represent. They love the version of you that benefits them, the version that shines. But the few who stay when you're broken, those are the ones who truly care. Real friendship doesn't make noise. It shows up quietly. It doesn't need to announce itself with grand gestures or public loyalty. It's found in the small things, in the text that says, "Are you okay?" In the hand that reaches out when everyone else steps back. It's in the person who listens when you're too tired to speak, who sits with you when you can't smile, who doesn't try to fix you but refuses to leave you. That's real friendship, not built on convenience, but on commitment. Think about the times you've succeeded. Everyone wanted to be close to you then. They wanted to share your spotlight, your laughter, your energy. But when you were at your lowest, how many of those people called? How many stood by you when you had nothing to offer them but your pain? Success attracts crowds, but struggle reveals character. People's true nature doesn't show when you're winning, it shows when you're wounded. Every storm you face in life has a purpose. It doesn't just test your strength, it tests your circle. Storms have a way of shaking off the people who were never rooted in loyalty. They drift away when the wind blows because they were never anchored to you, only to your comfort. But the ones who stay, the ones who hold on even when it's raining and dark, those are your real ones. They don't need your success to stay. They just need you. You can tell a lot about people by how they react to your pain. Some will vanish the moment your life stops being convenient for them. Some will pretend to care, but their concern is shallow. They just want to know your business. But then there are the rare ones who quietly show up. They don't need attention for their loyalty. They don't ask for anything in return. They just say, "I'm here." And sometimes that presence alone can heal more than words ever could. We live in a world obsessed with popularity and applause. People measure friendship by likes, comments, and appearances. But true friendship isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the unseen moments of care, honesty, and sacrifice. It's when someone defends you when you're not around, when someone prays for you in silence, when someone tells you the truth even when it hurts. Applause is for performance. Presence is for people who matter. You'll notice that when the storm hits, silence grows around you. Those who used to check on you become distant. Those who used to promise support suddenly go quiet. And it hurts, it really does. You'll feel betrayed, disappointed, even angry. But don't see it as a loss, see it as revelation. Storms don't destroy real friendship, they reveal it. They expose who was clapping because you were shining and who was standing because they cared about your soul. Think about it like this. When the lights go out during a storm, the noise of the world fades and only what's truly near becomes visible. In your life, when everything goes dark, that's when you see who's close. Real friends are like candles. They don't need electricity to shine. They create their own light to help you find your way. In daily life, you'll meet many people who call you their friend, but only a handful will prove it when it counts. When you face failure, heartbreak, or loss, that's when their true color appears. Some will step back because they don't know how to handle your storm. But the right ones will step in without being asked. They won't judge you. They won't preach. They'll just stay. There'll be a calm in your chaos, a reminder that even in the darkest season, you're not alone. Real friendship isn't about who's with you when the music's loud. It's about who stays when it stops. It's not about who praises you publicly. It's about who protects you privately. Sometimes the people who clap for you in the crowd are the same ones who gossip about you in the dark. And sometimes the ones who never say much are the ones praying the hardest for you when you're hurting. Every person needs at least one soul like that. Someone who doesn't need you to be perfect to stay. Someone who doesn't need you to be strong to believe in you. Because life will test you again and again, and not all storms come to destroy. Some come to clean the path, to clear the noise, to separate the real from the fake. And when that happens, you'll finally understand that friendship isn't found in the crowd that cheers for you. It's found in the hand that holds you when the crowd disappears. So as the storm fades and the light begins to break through, remember this one truth. Life will always reveal people to you, not through your success, but through your silence, your struggle, and your solitude. When everything you had fades away, when your name is no longer in lights, and when the crowd forgets the song they once cheered for, that's when you'll see the ones who never left your side. The ones who didn't need your crown to recognize your worth. Those who didn't need your victory to believe in your value. Those people are your real wealth, your real power, your real circle. Because loyalty cannot be bought. It can only be proven through presence. In this life, never be disappointed when people walk away. When they do, let them. Not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Some people were only meant to teach you how to stand alone. Because sometimes God will remove people from your life not to hurt you, but to protect you. Sometimes you need to be alone to see who you really are. Solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. And when the dust settles, when the pain quiets, you'll look around and realize that the storm didn't take anything valuable away. It only took away what was blocking your growth. Remember, no one who truly loves you will abandon you when you're in the dark. Real friends don't run from your weakness. They remind you of your strength. They don't feed your fear. They ignite your faith. When you're surrounded by silence, they speak hope into you. When you've lost your fire, they stand close enough to keep you warm until your flame burns again. These are the souls that make the storm bearable, the ones who show you that even broken people can shine. So hold your head high, even when your heart is heavy. Keep walking, even when the road feels endless. Because your pain has a purpose, your scars tell a story, and your struggle is proof that you are still fighting. Don't curse the storm, thank it. Thank it for showing you who you are without the applause, without the mask. Because when you rise again, and you will, you'll rise stronger, wiser, and surrounded only by those who truly care. There's a saying, a diamond is just a piece of coal that did well under pressure. And that's you. You've been under pressure, you've been tested, you've been bent, but you're still here. And that means you are becoming the rarest thing this world has ever seen, someone unshackable. The storm may bend you, but it cannot break you, because your foundation isn't built on people, it's built on purpose. Don't chase applause, chase alignment. Don't seek validation, seek vision. Because when you live for the cheers of others, you'll die by their silence. Greatness doesn't come from being liked, it comes from being real. When you stop trying to impress the crowd, you'll start attracting the right tribe. People who see you for who you are, not for what you have. People who believe in your potential even when you doubt it yourself. Those are your people. And if you find even one like that in this lifetime, you are richer than most. Life is not about how many people stand with you when you're strong. It's about who still stands with you when you're weak. It's about who walks with you when the road gets rough, who lifts you when you fall, who prays for you when you're tired. It's not the loud ones who matter most, it's the consistent ones. Because loyalty doesn't always shout. It often whispers, I'm still here. So promise yourself that from this moment on, you will not beg for love, you will not chase attention, and you will not measure your worth by who stays or who leaves. You are enough. Your value doesn't decrease when people stop seeing it. Their blindness doesn't make you any less brilliant. You are not defined by who walked away. You are defined by who you became after they did. The same fire that burned bridges behind you will light the path ahead of you. Stop looking back at what left. Start looking forward to what's waiting. Sometimes losing people is not a setback. It's a setup for the next level of your life. Let go of the ones who couldn't handle your storm. The storm wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to expose them. And one day you'll look back and smile. You'll thank the storm for showing you the truth, for breaking the illusions, for stripping away the fake, for leaving behind only the real. Because sometimes you have to lose the wrong people to make space for the right peace. So walk forward with quiet confidence. You don't need to announce your comeback. Your consistency will do that for you. Let your silence be your roar. Let your growth be your revenge. Let your peace be your power. Because the most powerful version of you is the one that no longer needs validation to feel valuable. Remember what Nelson Mandela once said, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell and got back up again." Remember what MYLES Munroe said, "The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose." And recall the words of Rumi, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Every scar you carry is not a mark of defeat. It's a medal of survival. You've walked through fire, you've endured storms, and you've faced loneliness, and yet you're still here. Stronger, deeper, and more real than before. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to your heart, that peace is more valuable than popularity, and that loyalty is worth more than luxury. So stand tall, speak softly but live loudly, love deeply but wisely, give freely but not foolishly, trust slowly but completely, and above all, never let the absence of applause make you forget your worth. Because your worth was never created by the crowd, it was crafted by your Creator. When the world forgets your name, remember, God still knows your heart. When the crowd goes silent, heaven still applauds your perseverance. And when life feels too heavy to carry, that's when your strength begins to speak. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to inspire the right ones. So keep walking through the storm with your head high and your heart unshaken. Because one day, the same people who walked away will look back and realize they didn't leave a failure behind, they left a fighter. They didn't abandon weakness. They abandoned greatness in its making. And that greatness is you.